This video is sponsored by Bityard. With over 400 cryptos to trade on their spot, perpetual coin futures, USDT futures, with leverage of 1x to up to 125x, you can trade foreign exchange, commodities like gold, silver and oil, and traditional markets like Nasdaq, all with some of the lowest fees available on any trading platform. You can use their copy trader to copy other traders with better performance than you, or you can become a copy trader yourself and earn a few extra percent from the people that follow you. Plus, you got 9 out of 10 stars from the Coin Bureau guy. Bityard. Hello everybody, welcome back. Let's have a look at XRP. I've given it the big green seal of approval tick here, not because we're looking for anything special on here, but because it's performing pretty much as it always has done, which is a good thing. This is why I always spoke about XRP as we entered into this phase here, because it's very similar to the way that it behaved in its last cycle. And I made a video about this leading up to that breakout, basically saying that XRP has its own cycle, completely separate, although distinctly similar to the time cycle of Bitcoin. It has a 4-year cycle of its own. Obviously there's no halving, it's obviously working in parallel with Bitcoin, but unfortunately for XRP, it spends the majority of its cycle retracing from a parabolic high, so basically about 3 years effectively going down, and then about 1 year at best, maybe 6 months of basically shooting up really big. So this is something that we should all think about and recognize for XRP, and the reason why it's a really decent coin to trade. Now, I'm not going to be buying any more of this. I'm going to give you some of my opinions as to where it's likely to go down to, and I can't really give you a target as where it's likely to go up to. I mean, effectively the sky is the limit for XRP, and you know, on a fundamental basis. Yeah, there's variables included in this at the moment, obviously, that run outside of the chart, which is, you know, the SEC lawsuit. But as far as time and cycle is concerned, it's still performing exactly the same as it has done in the last 2 times. So we should expect it to do this again. And if that's the case, this is something you should be privy to. You should be thinking about this throughout whatever we do between now and effectively, you know, the end here, because this is how I've ended up with the vast amount of the circulating supply of XRP. It's not because I've been buying it all the way up or all the way down or all the way sideways. It's because I had a sizable amount of it, and I stuck it through Bybit. Not that I recommend you do that unless you know what you're doing, right? Stuck it through Bybit and used coin futures on it, and it effectively increased the amount of XRP that I've got to an extortionate amount, more than anyone ever needs. Some I sold, but for the most part I didn't, and I've held on to it. So I've got, like I say, I got too much. And I'll no doubt end up with even more because there's a fix on this chart, but it does require a lot of patience. But the good thing about XRP is that it is old, right? And the beauty of having an old chart means that history often repeats. As we see with Bitcoin, we've got our 4-year cycle. We do have a similar kind of thing with XRP, although it works almost in completely the reverse. So this is XRP all the way back down to when it began. It's reasonably long as far as an altcoin's life, right? We started off with a parabolic high and then consolidated for an inordinate amount of time. We broke out from effectively a descending triangle all the way up, had a bit of time around here, and then continued all the way up to find ourselves a bubble pop with the rest of the market, and then spent more or less a 3-year period consolidating from that. It's at this stage where I was telling everybody, you know, XRP, don't sleep on it. It's actually a good coin. History repeats. It's going to fulfill its market cycle. Blah 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 blah. Coin futures, all the way up, and then SEC lawsuit basically ruined it. So without making a massive fine mess of this chart, this is a weekly. We're looking at a very long period of time here as far as, you know, altcoins are concerned. So from its high to its high over here, that is roughly about 1100 days, right? A long time. From this high to this high, it's roughly about 1200 days. So give or take 100 days, what's that in a market cycle of such significance? Not much. And you could say the same for Bitcoin. Bitcoin, you know, it's got its 4-year market cycle. Everybody's waiting for December. Yeah, fair enough, it kind of peaked, it didn't blow off its top, but as far as cycles are concerned, they kind of match roughly. You know, there's always room for error. Same with this. So from peak to peak and peak to peak, we're looking at quite a sizable amount of time. We're effectively, that's like give or take 4 years, isn't it? Really, it's about 3.5 years. From peak to peak, and from consolidation to consolidation. We're not going to map out the you know, talking about, you know, time or anything like that. We're talking about breakouts. That was about 800 days. This one was probably a little longer, but this one was 931 days, and this one is going to consolidate until further notice. Now, the main thing to take from this is that, you know, when buying into XRP, obviously it's good to buy low, but if you're really looking to make the most out of XRP, you know how obviously everybody wants, you know, in hindsight you go, I wish I'd have jumped from this coin to this coin and from this coin to this coin, because this one moved, that would have given me 100x or something like that, or 100%, whatever it made, and then if I'd have only jumped from that one to this one, I would have increased my amount by, you know, another, I don't know, 100%, and it's just a doubles game or something along those lines, you know, and just thinking, well, if I'd have just done this to this to this to this to this to this to this, I would have made loads of money. But instead, what I did is I balanced my portfolio, or I was focusing on one thing, which was the wrong thing, and everything else was moving around me. Now, I'm not here to say that I focus on every single coin in the world. Far from it. I prefer to focus on older charts, and this is why I made that video a while back, or probably only last week. About which altcoins it is that I'll be looking to buy if the market were to capitulate completely, massively dump, crash to extraordinary lows, and I wouldn't be buying, you know, random coins that aren't very old. You might end up winning massively on those, and let's face it, you probably will if you get the right one. It's a gamble, but I'll be looking for the more established older coins with the longer periods of charts. So what we're thinking about here is that, all right, so we've had a fix on this one. It breaks out of a descending triangle after a reasonably long period of accumulation, consolidation, and spends very little time accumulating before it shoots all the way up, and then once again. We did this here, we shot up several times and found our peak, and now we're in this consolidation. So if we think about what we're likely to be doing here, we're very likely to be consolidating at best around the top. You know, this could be the support, so we're talking about between 26, 30 some cents, you know, or we could break further down and come back down to revisit the mid-teens, between 20 and mid-teens. So if that is the case, then we are looking for further downside on this one. Just from the price action where we are today, you know, we'll be looking to come down by about 50%. So you might think, oh, but I'm holding on to loads of XRP, this is awful, oh my god. and fair enough, like, we all hold XRP just in case, you know, just in case, because you just never know. Remember, there is fundamentals behind this. There is a use case, there is all the other things that people like to talk about, which are true, right? It's true. It's being used as cross-border payments already. All that is true. The network is fully functional, operational, cheap, fast, and being utilized, right? So all of that is true. And obviously there is the wild card in the mix this time, which is, you know, whatever happens with the SEC. But if you think about it on a time basis, you know, whatever your time horizon is for this, you have to accept that we're likely to be completing and only halfway through its market cycle, which is halfway through a consolidation. Now, obviously, the consolidations can be pretty aggressive. Bang, bang, bang. We're banging our head against the wall before we finally break out. And again, the market cap for XRP down here is a lot less. But we do see some sizable moves on the way up. It's 200 and some %. Same with this one. Came all the way down to a major support, all the way up to the tune of 185%. You do get some significant bounces on this one, but as far as the cycle is concerned, it's not really wanting to, and I don't see it possible of it breaking out of this anytime soon. But the biggest move will be when it finally does break out of here, and if that is the case, then we shouldn't really be expecting that until potentially even, you know, 2 years from now. 2 years from now. But, you know, all good trades are the ones that require patience. You know, I always say it's like my analogy for trading is like going fishing, right? You can sit at the riverside all you like, but you can't rush a fish to bite that hook. You have to sit there on the side of, you know, eating sandwiches, listening to the radio, or whatever it is that you do. The fish isn't going to bite because you want it to. The fish will bite when it bites, and then you reel it in, and that's basically all trading is, really. And that's one way you should really think about it. You can't rush a trade. Just because you've got money on the sidelines doesn't mean you should deploy it. Just because you've got XRP in your Coin Futures account in Bybit doesn't mean you should be making trades every day. It's clear to me that as it has been this time round, which is why I've ended up with such a large stack of it, that the market cycle repeated, and I would expect it to repeat once again. And like I said, the only variable I can see within this is the SEC. And again, if XRP win that could only cause a pump to the top of this consolidation line, and then we continue to consolidate as a result of that, fulfilling what is a pretty clear market cycle. So unfortunately, if we measure the tops to the lows, that's a period of 180 days. The top to the lows, that's a period of 190. Sorry, 800 and this is 900. And so if we think about this, it seems to be extending. We could measure it down to roughly around 1,000. It seems to be getting longer each time. Yeah, we are looking for January 2024 for this to have already scraped its lows, roughly speaking, and getting ready to break out of its descending triangle, or we'll just call it a consolidation, ready to complete the latter part of the market cycle. And by the way, by this point, as we've approached this level and we're well into we've begun 2024, so this is roughly where we might be looking for XRP to make its big breakout. Hopefully we would have been taking other trades in what should be a relatively lucrative market once again. It doesn't feel like it'll ever be like that right now, but once again it should be a lucrative market, as it always has been, and we will have money to deploy back into XRP when the time is right. But if you are looking to pick XRP up and scrape the lows or wherever that might be, again, we can think about the variable being SEC. We can think about trading on the back of that, or developments in the technology, partnerships, whatever. You can always trade on the back of those things if you want to, if that's your vibe. But if it's not your vibe and you're thinking of, I suppose, doing it based on TA, this is a good read. It matches. We managed to deal with XRP pretty well around here, and I'd expect we'll be able to deal with it again, and maybe this next time round will be an absolute all-time high. Maybe that will be the case. So unfortunately for XRP hodlers like myself, we shouldn't really expect anything for XRP for what would appear to be 18 months. 18 months. Fair enough. Fair enough. So be it. It is what it is. 18 months from now, we will start the uptrend, and again, we can be ready with our futures buttons if that's what you want to do. Otherwise, you could just make a quick and sharp rotation. On the short-term time frame, though, and again, this goes to what somebody was saying. Yeah, it was me. I was saying about it. The 48% dominance, Bitcoin dominance. It would appear that throughout the last week, when I was calling for the alt season, and the way I call an alt season is our altcoins going to overtake Bitcoin in their march up? Are they going to outperform Bitcoin, basically? And so far they've consistently done that for a week. As we can see over here on the Bitcoin dominance chart, we're still breaking down as we speak. We're still breaking down. Now we can put on some indicators if you want, but it's not that useful. But for what we do see, if we were to take this seriously, contrary to popular belief, where Bitcoin dominance is destined to break out and go all the way up to, which I do believe is going to happen, but again, it wasn't very popular when I was saying we're going to get rejected from here and have an alt season. It does look like we're in a bit of a tricky situation with the Bitcoin dominance chart, breaking down below all major moving averages and continuing with that. And we do have divergence building on the momentum, but as far as the, for want of a better word, the price chart, it's not really suggesting that. But the reason I'm bringing this to your attention is that if we go to a lot of altcoins versus their Bitcoin pairs, they've actually got bullish setups. If we saw something like this on any chart, we'll go, this is bullish. You've got our golden crosses here on the 4 hourly. This normally has continuation. Be interesting to see what the Itchy Cloud says as well on this. So the Itchy Cloud, let's just have a zoom in on this one, see if we've got a decent signal. Unfortunately, this is just a pump signal, so we can't expect this to have continuation based on the Itchy Cloud. That would have been perfect. That would have been able to have given us an exit point, but we don't have that. But for the XRP hodlers, at least, for in the last, well, the last week, just before I made that video suggesting it was going to happen, you've seen some decent increases from altcoins to Bitcoin. XRP here by going up to the tune of 30%. These are my average targets. I say that altcoins will outperform between 10 and 50%. Some have obviously done more than that, but the average of that basically being 25%. So this one outperformed the average of what I was expecting when making that rotation from altcoins, from Bitcoin into altcoins. And through the process of doing that, it's actually got an okay setup. There's quite a few altcoins like this that if you were to see this on any kind of chart, you'd go, that's bullish, I like that. That is actually quite good. Now, obviously we know that the market trends as one. If Bitcoin takes a massive dump, then fine. This will also take a dump. But, and only if, we get what I consider to be a potential everything bounce. So I made a video about the everything bounce yesterday. And again, you've got to think about it in context, right? I'm talking about an everything bounce. Bounce, not reversal. Otherwise, I would have called it the everything reversal. But we are looking, I believe we're looking at some serious bouncy action taking place within the next 3 weeks. If we maintain a setup like this, we can see some retracing on this coming down to retest the golden cross. That's no big deal. We would expect that. When you see golden crosses, it's most of the time you'll see a retest of it. And that's what we're looking at here. You know, bring us, you know, to that 200 exponential, maybe, possibly over the coming weeks. But then from there, continuation, meaning that maybe altcoins will, in this everything bounce, if we get it, and I think that we probably will, but in the everything bounce, will then be an opportunity once again to make a small rotation. But again, I'm not here to tell you about trading, you know, what to trade or anything like that. I'm just presenting something to you. On the very long term, the best way to look at XRP is the full market cycle, suggesting that the best time to trade or buy or look to rotate into XRP to a large extent is probably not going to be until January 2024. But again, you know, there is a wild card in the mix this time. We'll have to see how that plays. Anyway, I'll leave it with you there. Hopefully that has been useful for you, and not depressing either. This is not this isn't a bad thing. This, you know, every time we have a fix on a chart, especially one that we've seen before that played out, we were waiting for it to play, and we see it happening again, it's a good thing. Obviously, time is your main component, and patience. Frustration, emotions shouldn't really come into any of this. When we see a chart performing the same as it did over here, as it did over here, as it is doing now, we should actually be grateful that we've got a fix on something like XRP that suggests it's going to perform in exactly the same way, and maybe even more aggressively this next time round. So I'll leave it with you there, but thank you for watching, guys. Hope you have a nice day. Feel free to subscribe to the channel and join the Telegram and whatever else you want to do. Yeah, take it easy.